Welcome to the fourth meeting of the year. Today is March 2nd, 2026. Alyssa, can you please read the publication?
In compliance with Chapter 231 of Public Law 1975, notice of this meeting to be held at the Criminal Justice Building, 61 Main Street, South River, has been published in the Home News Tribune on January 7, 2026, posted on the Municipal Building Bulletin Board, the Borough website, and the front door of the Criminal Justice Building at 61 Main Street, South River.
Roll call.
Mayor Gindi?
Here.
Councilwoman De Silva?
Here.
Councilman Donato?
Here.
Councilman DeZemian?
Here.
Councilman Janikopoulos?
Here.
Councilman Gerchinsky?
Here.
Council President DeSantis?
Here. Please stand up for a salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please stay standing for a moment of silence. You may be seated. We are going to go into proclamations. I do have a proclamation for Recycling Coordinator of the Year. I also like to recognize a very good friend of mine, the Executive Director of Middlesex County, the Improvement Authority, Jim Polis. If you like, you can come to the front with me. Donna, I don't know how to thank you for what you have done. And you continue to do this. Mayor and council, especially the council, recognizes everything you're doing. Whereas the Borough of South River recognizes the importance of environmental stewardship, sustainability, and reasonable waste management in preserving the health, safety, and quality of life in our residents. And whereas Donna Stoddard has demonstrated exceptional dedication, leadership, and commitment in her role as recycling coordinator of Borough of South River. And whereas Donna's professionalism, work ethics, and dedication to public service reflect great credit upon herself and the Borough of South River and the community she proudly serves. And whereas the recognition of her outstanding service and measurable contributions to environmental sustainability, Donna Stoddard has been honored by the prestigious Recycling Coordinator of the Year award. Now therefore be proclaimed that the mayor and council for the Borough of South River do hereby commend and congratulate Donna Stoddard for being named Recycling Coordinator of the Year and extend sincere appreciation for her continued dedication, leadership, and commitment to improving our community and protecting our environment for future generations. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mayor's okay with this?
Yeah, absolutely. You want to say a few words?
Sure. Mayor, thank you. First of all, I really appreciate the invitation tonight. It's not often that I get invited to municipalities for such great occasions as this, so it's very nice of you to do that, and a compliment to the council for recognizing the coordinator this evening. Donna and I have some roots. We go back to, what year did we first meet? It's got to be So Donna worked for, when I was mayor of Highland Park, she worked in Highland Park, and then was stolen to move to South River at some point. So I had the opportunity to work with her in her capacity in our construction office then, and I certainly recognized her great talent and capabilities, and we recognize that at the county level now at the Improvement Authority in her role as recycling coordinator. Being a recycling coordinator is not an easy position in the community. You're dealing with a lot of complaints and issues and problems. You have to interact with us as a third party and sometimes the vendor. This transition to the new ASL service has certainly been a complicated process. I think it's a good thing at the end of the day, but there were a lot of issues involved with that. And Donna was a type of coordinator that we could go to ask questions, get feedback. She's always been very honest with us. But you know, there are those people who try to create problems and those people who try to fix them. And Donna fixes problems. So we've always had the comfort to go to her and say, what do you think? And she's always given us an honest opinion, which has been very helpful, getting that kind of local feedback on what we should be doing better and how we can do it in a more efficient way. So she's a great asset to your town, been a great asset to us. I thank you for recognizing her. And again, thank you very much
No,
for the
thank you
opportunity
for
to be with
being
you tonight. Certainly appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. We're going to move on to agenda session. I'm going to jump to the Main Street trees first before we go into discussion of ordinances. I had the opportunity to sit down with the shade tree and environmental. We went through quite a few interesting topics. One of them was the ordinance that we're looking to move on, which we're going to have to revisit at the next council meeting. But I also talked about how I really want to get rid of the pots, the planters on Main Street. They look hideous. I do not care too much for them. So with that said, I did a lot of research on bringing trees back onto Main Street. Approximately about 11 or so trees. I know the council has pictures of most of them. And the reason I'm bringing this to your attention is because of this. As of right now, Main Street has about 48 trees that could be that will be planted, not including the 5 trees that two different developers are going to be responsible for. The small trees will measure up to about 15 to 20 feet in length, and the medium trees will measure up to, which are going to be wire-free areas, 25 to 35 feet in length. All trees, the roots will grow downwards, not spread out, as well as the trees itself will not bloom out to extend into the Main Street. The expenses will be obviously paid by our Tree and Shade Trust Fund, which we have quite a few dollars in there. All trees will be planted by a professional and full guarantees for up to a year. Planting of all trees will need to be done within the month of March into the early April, and this is why I'm bringing it to you now, because I'm not interested in losing out on the time frame where we could actually plant it into the ground. DPW, I already spoken to them. They will be daily watering it and making sure that they're growing properly. All existing marital trees would be relocated to Blue Acre properties throughout the town. Now, to the council, do you have any consensus? What's your thoughts? What do you see on Main Street?
Well, Mayor, I walked Main Street on a Saturday with a couple of people, and there was a lot of grates that do need to be replaced, and your count is accurate. It's 48 trees that we are going to plant there, and the crepe myrtles, miraculously, are still, they're not dead, despite having to, oh, are they? Because some of them have buds on them still. We were noticing that so they are going to get transplanted into our Blue Acre property, so they're not going to be wasted. And the downtown is going to look so much prettier with trees up and down Main Street. That's all.
Council?
Well, I remember back when the day when you walked down Main Street, it was like walking down a green tunnel, and it was phenomenal. It really was.
I miss those days.
The only concern that I think we might have downtown is, I believe in the verge, is there any conduits?
Yes, there is.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, they're moved to the side.
They are on the side.
Yes, they
Okay,
are.
so it's not going to impede. Okay.
Now, Age went out just to confirm all that.
Okay, very good.
Which, if I may, we're also going to, just to let the citizens know, we're going to be able to light those trees up for holidays.
Yeah.
And it's just going to look really pretty. It's really something to look forward to.
Any comment?
I was going to say that I asked Joe Zanga if there was trees that money grew on, but he said money doesn't grow on trees, but I don't know if it's a bad time for a joke or not, but yeah. So.
Mayor Gindi,
Yes, sir.
I think it's a great idea personally. I think I see 2 of the trees of at least at the very end of that. They're so pretty. I think they should be put in our parks, really. The other ones are fine. The only thing I caution, and I don't think, my own personal opinion is, I don't think it'd be a problem, is that the county road. And as such, I think the county is going to be interested in who's going to maintain those trees. They're going to be safe for the road. You don't want to have trucks run into them. And I think the spread on these is taking that into consideration.
I should have put this in I spoke to Jim Polis, Ron Rios. I had the opportunity to speak to him. He thought it was a great idea. He just told me, whatever you guys decide to pick on, just let us know ahead of time.
Okay, so then you ready to make, okay,
And I also,
fine with me.
he also asked me how long would it take. We're predicting about a week, maybe a week and a half to plant. I mean, you have 48 trees that we have to go after. But
Time constraints are, that's why I say I don't think there would have been a problem anyhow, as long as we're gonna be taking the responsibility of maintaining them and whatever we have to do, and
Showing
they're not gonna be damaged.
showing life to Main Street.
It's gonna be beautiful, I agree.
All right, so we will be moving forward on it. Good?
Absolutely.
All right, thank you. For discussion ordinances, you will be able to comment on your public comments. Thank you. For discussion on ordinances, there are going to be 2 for second reading. Joe, can you please talk about the 2026-3?
This is second reading, public hearing of a road ordinance, which is improvements to Brunswick Street, Lion Street, and Mitchell Avenue. Project has funding by DOT of $582,753. We also filed a supplemental debt statement as required by law with the state of New Jersey.
All right, thank you. John DeLuca, if you could talk about 2026-4.
Sure.
But you could also touch on our first reading for 2026-6.
I will. I'll try not to be redundant. So, if anybody was paying attention last meeting, 2026-4 is an ordinance to divide what is an existing Environmental Commission Green Team and Shade Tree Advisory Board into 2 separate bodies, one focusing on just the Environmental Commission and Green Team responsibilities, and the other focusing on the Shade Tree Advisory Board. The reason you see what appears to be duplicates of this ordinance on the agenda is because upon further review by members of the existing body, it was noted that when this group was first instituted, it wasn't in accordance with New Jersey statutes, and as this 2026-4 was drafted, it's still not in accordance with the makeup of the bodies in those statutes. So the ordinance has been revised. That will be 2026-6 to do so in accordance with New Jersey statutes. So the Environmental Commission and what will be the Shade Tree Commission will perfectly mirror New Jersey statutes and have all the immunities, obligations, and responsibilities under those statutes. But that's why you see that ordinance listed twice. So for procedural reasons, we are holding that second hearing tonight on 2026-4, but obviously it's my recommendation that we favorably act on 2026-6.
All right, thank you. And then for first reading, 2026-5. Want to touch on that?
Yeah, basically it's just the first reading for amending the ordinance to not allow people to throw snow and ice onto the roadway during a snowstorm. It was removed some time ago. We tried to trace it down when it was. We couldn't find it. It was put up again back in 2015, but it never made it to the council. So we're just putting it up this time too.
Okay. And then last one will be 2026-7. Joe? The fees?
That is Recasting Park, baseball fields and other rentals for use of fields, changing to Recasting, obviously we have a turf field now, it's not the same as other. Or plus you also have to put up a reserve too, that's gonna go into a trust fund at the end of the Public Works will look, and if there's any damage and stuff to it, we'll take part of the deposit and pay for that and then give the refund back whatever's left over.
Okay.
If there's anything left over, there's something that they owe us, I don't have to address it with the person who put it in.
All right, thank you. Alyssa, can we start off with 2026-3 for second reading?
Ordinance 2026-3, bond ordinance providing for improvements to various roads, appropriating $950,000, therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $253,500 bonds and notes to finance a portion of the cost thereof, authorized in and by the Borough of South River in the County of Middlesex, New Jersey.
Motion to waive the full read.
Second.
Motion by Council President DeSantis, seconded by Councilman DeZemian.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'd like to open this up to the public. 5 minutes. Just please state your name. No. Alyssa, I mean, Alyssa. Emily, not this one. First call, second call, third call.
Motion to close.
Motion by Council President DeSantis,
Second.
second by Councilman Giannakopoulos.
All in favor?
Aye.
Council's discussion. Do I have a motion?
Motion?
Motion
Second.
by Councilman Krasinski, second by Council President DeSantis.
Councilman De Silva,
Yes.
Councilman Donato,
Yes.
Councilman DeZemian,
Yes.
Councilman Janikopoulos,
Yes.
Councilman Gertenski,
Yes.
Council President DeSantis.
Yes.
Alyssa, 2026-4.
Ordinance 2026-4, an ordinance of the Borough of South River, County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, repealing and replacing Chapter 22, Article 4, Sections 22-18 through 22-18.12 of the Borough Code to establish separate Environmental Commission / Green Team and Shade Tree Advisory Board.
Motion to waive the full reading.
Motion by Council President DeSantis,
Second.
second by Councilwoman De Silva.
All in favor?
Aye.
Now, I will be opening this up to the public. They have the right to express their opinion. You can.
Emily Grasso, 13 Darrow Street, also Chair of the Environmental Shade Tree Advisory Board and Green Team current. Can I comment on the street trees on Main Street?
No, it's just on this ordinance.
Okay, just on this ordinance. So after our meeting, my understanding was that the Environmental Commission was going to be a Shade Tree Commission, and the Green Team was going to be a separate entity. So the Environmental Commission and Shade and Green Team glued together
Correct,
as one entity.
correct. Shade tree is what's we're taking away from it.
So if you're on the Environmental Commission, you're also on the Green Team. Is that true?
That's possible, yes.
Let's see, that's not. The understanding I had was that the Environmental Commission and the Shade Tree are going to be together, and the Green Team is going to be separate because of all other involved things that you have to do.
Which is on the environmental, correct? Right. Thank you.
Mayor, if you don't mind, I could
You
speak
go
to
ahead,
that a little bit.
please.
So there are two very distinct and specific statutes. One that addresses environmental commissions statewide, and one that addresses shade tree commission statewide, and they define them as those exact titles: environmental commission and shade tree commission. The Green Team, there's not a specific statute that provides for the creation of a Green Team. It's more the program that you can get involved with and making these efforts. So the way that the statute's been amended is, the Green Team will roll under that Environmental Commission, but the Environmental Commission and Shade Tree Commission really need to be separate boards subject to either statute. And that's why they're separated that way.
I understand that, but I didn't think the Green Team and the Environmental Commission would be put together. I thought we'd have three separate entities. That's not the case.
Not right now, no.
Okay.
Thank you. Anyone else from the public? First call, second call.
Motion to close public.
Motion by Council President DeSantis,
Second.
second by Councilwoman De Silva.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Council discussion? What is your motion? What is your motion? Alyssa, the ordinance dies. All right, we're going to move to first reading, 2026-5.
Ordinance 2026-5, an ordinance amending the code of the Borough of South River, Chapter 289, Article 2, Section 289-5, titled Removal of Snow and Ice, to prohibit the placement, deposit, or dumping of any material, object, snow, ice, debris, or other substance in the public right-of-way.
I motion that council pass ordinance 2026-5 on its first reading by title only, and that the clerk be authorized to publish the same as required by law, with the second reading and public hearing to be held at a meeting at 7 p.m. On Monday, March 23rd at 7 p.m. by video conference via Zoom or in the council chambers of the Criminal Justice Building at 61 Main Street in South River, New Jersey.
Motion by Council President DeSantis,
Second.
second by Councilman DeZemian.
Councilwoman De Silva,
Yes.
Councilman Donato,
Yes.
Councilman DeZemian,
Yes.
Councilman Giannakopoulos.
Yes.
Councilman Gertenski,
Yes.
Council President DeSantis.
Yes.
Alyssa, 2026-6.
Ordinance 2026-6, an ordinance of the Borough of South River, County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, repealing and replacing Chapter 22, Article 4, Sections 22-18 through 22-18.12 of the Borough Code to establish separate Environmental Commission/Green Team and Shade Tree Advisory Board.
I move that the council pass ordinance 2026-6 on its first reading by title only, and that the clerk be authorized to publish the same as required by law, with the second reading and public hearing to be held at a meeting at 7 p.m. on Monday, March 23rd, 2026, by video conference via Zoom or in the council chambers of the Criminal Justice Building at 61 Main Street in South River, New Jersey.
Motion by Council
I'd
President.
second it.
Second by Council. So, motion by Council President DeSantis, seconded by Councilman Giannakopoulos.
Councilwoman De Silva,
Yes.
Councilman Donato,
Yes.
Councilman DeZemian,
Yes.
Councilman Giannakopoulos,
Yes.
Councilman Gertenski,
Yes.
Council President DeSantis.
Yes.
Alyssa, 2026-7.
Ordinance 2026-7, an ordinance amending the code of the Borough of South River, Chapter 155, titled Fees at Section 155-19.1, subsections to require a security deposit for reservations to use Krakowski Park baseball field.
I move that council pass ordinance 2026-7 on its first reading by title only, and that the clerk be authorized to publish the same as required by law, with the second reading and public hearing to be held at a meeting at 7 p.m. on Monday, March 23rd, 2026, by video conference via Zoom or in the council chambers of the Criminal Justice Building at 61 Main Street in South River, New Jersey.
Motion by Council President DeSantis,
Second.
second by Councilman DeZemian.
Councilwoman De Silva,
Yes.
Councilman Donato,
Yes.
Councilman DeZemian,
Yes.
Councilman Giannakopoulos,
Yes.
Councilman Gertenski, Council President DeSantis.
Yes.
We're going to move to reports. CME, Justin.
Thank you, Mayor. Brief update on the capital projects taking place in the borough. For the 2023 and 2024 local aid program, the contractor only has a minor punch list remaining, and once the weather clears up, he will complete that work and we will begin the closeout process with the DOT. For the 2023 local transportation projects grant, we had a bid opening on February 18th, 2026 at 10 a.m. Crossroads Paving was submitted the lowest apparent bid, and we've worked with them in the past with positive results. For the 2025 local aid program, the design is complete and has been submitted to the DOT for approval. For the 2025 electrical substation maintenance project, a pre-construction meeting took place at the end of January, and work is expected to begin this spring. And for the 2026 local aid program, our office submitted a proposal to begin the design work. That's all I have.
Thank you. Council discussion? All right. Joe, CFO. Nothing. DPWH. I'm sure there is. Hopefully it doesn't snow anymore. Discussion? Nothing? Fire chief.
Department, we had 75 alarms. We're up to 75 alarms, 35 for the month of February. 2 guys are in fire school in Sayreville. Well, thank you for rescheduling that with us. We couldn't make it. Also, keep a lookout. Some engine companies will be doing Mother's Day flower sales. Look on the Borough website. The Facebook page.
Discussion? John? Nothing?
No report tonight.
Melissa?
Nothing tonight.
Mark?
Yeah, just a couple things. As a report on February 18th, our police dispatchers moved back downstairs into the communications room. Thank you to Peter Sikansky and the Office on Aging for allowing us to be there for a couple weeks. We moved back from the EOC. The upgrade was 2 years in the making. We upgraded the furniture, the radio console, flooring, lighting, and also the phone console. Our phone console went from analog to digital, which a lot of people may not know this, but when you dial the 238-1000 number, we didn't have caller ID. When you dialed 911, we did, but when you dialed 238-1000, we didn't. And I think that was a misconception that a lot of people thought that we had. On another note, we're still looking for SLEO 1 officers. The application process is open until March 14th, and you can obtain those applications through policeapp.com. All right, and on a final note, just want to congratulate Donna for for being the second quarter of the year. I think that's something we should do all the time, is recognize the people in South River, especially the ones that work here. And with that being said, I just want to let you guys know that SafeWise, which is a security company, research company in New Jersey, ranked South River as the 3rd safest city in New Jersey. So I want to thank the Borough Council for supporting the police department. I want to thank all my police officers and everyone that works in the police department, and also the community for the partnership that we created to get that high on that list. So something to be proud of by everyone.
Thank you. All right, we'll start off with Councilman Krasinski.
Thank you, Mayor. Unfortunately, I don't have anything to report right now for the Office on Aging. They haven't set up their schedule yet. I know that they had it available before to do the income tax by appointment only. That would be in East Brunswick, and I think it was Old Bridge, if I remember right. You call, you have to set up an appointment to get a counselor, and they'll go over your forms. Other than that, that's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman De Silva.
Okay, just wanted to remind everybody that our rabies clinic will be Saturday, March 28th. 12 to 2 is dogs only, 2 to 2:30 is cats. It'll be held at the Public Works Department, which is on 9 Ivan Way. It's open to all residents of New Jersey, but South River residents, we are waiving the licensing of your pets, the late fees being waived until April 1st. So it's good to, even if your dogs are updated by the veterinarian, still go down there to register your pets. Also want to remind everybody that the food bank, 98 Jackson Street, is open 2 times a week through March. And check the Borough website for information, but patrons may visit the food bank 2 times monthly. So you get to go down to the food bank twice a month if you're in need, and their shelves are stocked. So definitely eggs, all that. It's definitely take advantage of that. And for tonight, that's all, Mayor.
Councilman DeZemian.
Thank you, Mayor. At the Board of Ed meeting this past week, several teachers from the pre-elementary, middle, and high schools were recognized as Teachers of the Year. Congratulations to all of those outstanding teachers on a job well done. Also at the meeting, the board thanked the mayor and DPW for their fine work in removing all the snow, which was a lot, to get the school grounds ready for classes on Wednesday. So they were very thankful at the meeting for all the hard work you did. The Budget Committee, we've had more meetings. Soon it will be finalized and presented to the residents to view. As I had stated at a previous meeting about the frost on the pumpkin, we haven't had it in the past few years, but this year we are working on that and we're going to have it. And that's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilman Giannakopoulos.
Yes, Mayor. I just wanted to say the Environmental Shade Tree Committee is having a meeting on Thursday, March 12th, down at 48 Washington. As you can see, there's exciting things going on. It's open to the public. It's a very friendly group of people there. If you want to discuss anything to do with the environment, get to know about what's going on in town, as far as like Arbor Day coming up, and just getting yourself involved. Any students out there that might have an interest in tree planting and finding out about what's going on environmentally in South River, they're all welcome to come to those events. Also, the EDC has their meeting on Wednesday, March 18th. That is at the Senior Center upstairs, and that meeting is at 7 o'clock. And that's also open to the public if you're interested in helping out and volunteering on trying to get something going on in town. We're planning to do a farmer's market in town, and that's the event we're working on right now. But if anyone has any other ideas, that's also open to the public. I invite anyone that wants to come to that. and just say thank you to our DPW for a great job that they did with this snowstorm. And I was in a meeting today with the OEM about after the storm, and we had a lot of good feedback. And a lot of people got their cars off the streets, which is a good thing. And I just like to say thank you to them and everyone that works in this town that does a wonderful job and makes us proud to be South River people. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Donato.
I'll just like to thank, again, congratulations, Donna. People don't understand that being a civil service worker, I understand how many hours civil service employees put in. We don't get paid for the amount of hours we put in, especially if we're really dedicated to what we do. Just what happens on the council here, I can personally vouch for the fact that we put so many hours in every week, you'd be amazed. It's not just up here. It's other meetings we've gone to. Today, as an example, we had a meeting at our fire department. A great building, it's got problems. We're down there trying to help solve some of the problems we have down there. We spend a lot of money on that fire department. We want to make sure we preserve it and keep it in the operating condition it should be in for the safety of our firemen and the safety of the people of this town. We put hours in, we put a lot of thought in things. My head is still spinning with all the stuff that goes on here. We're going to be in a really tight financial situation with the budget this year, and it's going to get worse because of all the winter stuff that we have. I've seen more potholes in our roads. I almost took out the front end of my car a couple of places where I thought it was just a shadow. It was a hole, and it goes all the way down to the bottom. So the way that everybody tweaks here and tweaks there to keep things within manageable means, to keep the expenses to the people at a minimum is just amazing. So please, if you're thinking that anybody who's a civil service worker or a government official does this thing because we make a whole lot of money, wrong. It never happens. But I congratulate everybody who was a civil service worker and the people right up here for all that they do. It's honest. Actually, for me, it's fun. And because I feel that I'm dedicating some direction to the town, and I'll always try to do that. And so you'll hear me say things at times that you may not like, but it's to get people to start thinking. With that, I'll shut up.
You're fine. Council President.
I too would also like to recognize Donna. I think the automatic side load, there's 17 different municipalities that started with that over the last, say, call it year. So for you to get recognized in the year that happened, I think that just shows what Mr. Polo said about how you went above and beyond, and probably the hardest time for your job. Changes are always rocky at first, and I understand that. So thank you so much for that. From the Recreation Advisory Board, registration is open for Zumba. Classes are Mondays and Wednesdays from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Tonight is actually the first class, but you can still register, and they will go through April 1st. Registration is also open for spring yoga. Classes are Tuesdays starting March 31st through May 19th from 6:30 to 7:30. Registration is also open for all spring activities for sports, which includes t-ball, baseball, softball, and flag football. But the hard deadline is this Friday, March 6th. The programs have to be finalized for uniforms and plans for scheduling, so please register this week. We're also going to be adding a chess program where the children can learn how to play chess. They're just finalizing the schedule with the instructor. That could be played obviously indoors, and it's not as finite of a schedule. So once they get an instructor in place, we'll let everybody know. And you can visit the Borough website for more details and to register, www.southrivernj.org. Click Departments, then Parks and Recreation, and you'll see a link to enroll. And if any issues online, you can call the office at 732-254-4412. For upcoming events, the Easter egg hunt will be held on March 21st at St. Mark's, the back parking lot behind the old Corpus Christi in the field. Right now, the plan is to start around 4 p.m. They're doing it later in the day. They had a lot better attendance last year by doing that. And the rain date is set for the following Saturday, March 28th. You could check the website and Facebook for the flyer when it gets released to have the exact start times for your age group. The next Recreation Advisory Board meeting will be Monday, March 9th at 6 p.m. at 55 Reed Street. Residents are welcome and encouraged to attend. I know Councilman Donato and Councilman DeZemian also mentioned the Budget Committee, which I'm also on. I think we have to put some things into perspective. When you get a storm like we got this past week or a couple weeks ago, from a round numbers perspective, a storm like that could cost the borough $100,000. When you talk about manpower, salt, food, drink, all the different things that have to be done. $100,000, what does that mean? That's about 1% of your municipal tax rate. So a storm like that could raise your taxes 1% on the municipal side. We actually have a fortunate scenario where these storms happen before we do this year's budget, but in other years, you don't always have that ability to make these moves. So things are going to be difficult. We've already talked about health benefits. That at this point is a $500,000 increase every year borough-wide. That's not South River only, that's everywhere. Mr. Zeng has done a great job getting us into the best positions there with the programs that they've picked, but these are all challenges. Again, I can tell you that I've done some research on the property tax side. I'm a big numbers guy, especially when you're dealing with budget. We have the third lowest tax base on dollars in the whole county, and we're the fifth lowest based on effective tax rate, which takes your taxes over the value of your home. So it puts us in number 3 and number 5. There's basically 25,000 people in half the towns in Middlesex and more than 25,000 in the other half. For the towns that have less than 25,000, which we are one of, there's only 2 towns that are in the top third in any metric, and we're in both. So again, that's kudos to most of my predecessors, as a lot of what was put in place with the battery storage and the good decisions and being run well. We're going to continue to do that. So Councilman Donato, Councilman DeZemian, and I pledge to continue to be frugal, but also give value to our residents with their tax dollars. And with that, that's all I have.
Thank you. I'll hold my comments. I'd like to open this to the public. You get 5 minutes. Please state your name and your address. Going once.
Bill from North LA. About the closing of Collins Drive, as you know. Listen to the fellow that talked from Terry Avenue. Most of the rhetoric was not in my backyard. Wanted they moved into a gated community or a private street. Everything's basic in life that I could find out. Change. There's always change going on. Taxes and debt. Seems to want to turn the clock back to 1970s or something like that. When they built Collins Drive, through the streets, development there, 4th Avenue was dead-ended at the border of Brunswick, which East Brunswick, when they built those houses, decided not to continue that street any further. And Collins Drive was built to probably connect with Whitehead. Change it. I mean, I complained about speeding in the neighborhood. Hey, I think all of us have some speeders in the neighborhood. For expectations, I mean, there's always change. So, I mean, you told me that you basically closed the street for the bad drivers that were going the wrong way, danger Johnny and Susie. Is that correct?
It was never supposed to be open, sir. But keep going.
It was open. It was. They voted. You.
Before we finish this conversation, I just want to remind you that March 23rd is going to be our next meeting. I'm looking forward to you.
I mean, this.
Go.
5 minutes. I mean, you know.
I just point behind this conversation is it's going to keep on going
Well,
as
you don't
many
wanna
meetings
make
as
a statement.
possible.
You don't really want to tell me
At
the
the
real
last
story.
council meeting, you said something that really stuck in my head, and I recall it being said to me multiple times. And your exact words was, "I lose $150 on gas." So the more and more you talk to me, the more and more I realize it's all about what you want. My issue is that road was never supposed to be left open at all. I don't want to get into it. It was never supposed to be left open. Now, I showed you multiple videos, up to 364 videos to be exact, of people doing the wrong way after I gave full warning for almost 3 to 4 months. So I understand what you're saying. So I could actually make it easier for you by me putting up a fence just for public safety. And are you still going to come up here and complain about it? Most likely. The reason being is because it's only going to apply to public safety.
Public safety.
Okay, just listen to what I said. So if I put up a fence, eventually, when we get funds for public safety, are you still going to come up here and complain about it?
I mean, I'm still looking for the real reason for why
You're not. You're going around in circles, sir. I'm enjoying this because that's why I invite you to every one of my meetings because this is how I start my conversations with the public. So continue your conversation, sir. Please continue it.
I mean, talk about public safety. You endanger 1,000 people are in danger. If the police car is on Collins Drive and they have to get to Monticello, Veterans Place, Redwood, Lark, Samuel, those streets there. Hey, it adds time to their time. So you endangered 1,000 people for what? That's 1,000 people that one way. It's, I don't know, it's probably 1,000 people going to the west way. I mean, on the same thing, if the conditions hit. Talk about safety, and don't talk about safety. That's why I'm confused here. I keep looking at what are you trying to prove here, and you're not going there. It's not a safety issue. What happens if you lose a charter in Whitehead? How do you get to Monticello or Samuel or anything like that without going through East? Two ways.
Sir,
Two ways.
your time is almost coming up.
Thank you.
March 23rd, sir. I'll see you soon. Thank you. Anyone else from the public, please?
Emily Grasso, 15 Barrett Street. Can I comment on the Main Street trees?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So I just, there's a few concerns I have, just from experience, because I've planted trees, or, I've had landscapers plant trees 7 times in the last 10 years. So we usually plant them at the end of the year, only because there's a time that we planted them in August, probably a third of them died because you're looking to plant them in March and April.
Correct. Yeah, we spoke to 3 different professionals.
Okay.
And they all told me the same thing. Not only did we go after this, but considering between now and beginning of April when we're going to plant it, I will be coming back to your committee.
Okay.
With the samples and everything.
My other concern is, so the grades, I haven't looked at one lately, but when they plant the trees, they have these big root balls. Are the root balls going to fit in the
Absolutely.
Yes, the root balls are going to fit. We went out and looked. The grates would get removed. The tree would get planted with the root ball, and then the grate would return. But the root ball would be, under the grate.
How would they get the root ball back over? How would they get the grate back over the tree?
It's 2 sections. Two sections.
Yeah. Okay, I got you. That's what you're saying.
Okay, so yeah,
I
it's
didn't
just
mention
if age can water them enough, 48 trees is a lot. But, hopefully,
No.
professional water.
Joe, can you put 2 watering cans in the budget?
You're gonna need 2 tank trucks. What else? So, and as far as picking species, who's gonna be doing that?
I'll be visiting you.
Oh, okay. That's a big responsibility.
And we have 11 different types that we already picked out.
Okay. And do you have a vendor, or you're gonna have to put it out for bid?
Correct.
Yes.
So, and you have people you're gonna send out the bids to?
Yeah, 5 different companies.
We're gonna decide what species, right?
Yeah, well, we're going to pick
Pick
probably.
from those 9.
Well, you don't want to pick the same species, so you're going to have 3 different types of trees on Main Street. Different colors.
Okay.
Yeah. I want some life on Main Street.
No, I agree. You all said Main Street's gonna end well, but like I said, I just want to make sure.
No problem. Thank you.
Could I address Emily?
Sure, absolutely.
So, just to let you know, I'm going to bring the documentation to the meeting, and you guys are we're all going to have input on it, and pick the proper tree, because everyone has been made aware of your tree knowledge, and we value it and we want to take advantage of it. Thank you.
I better get more sleep.
Anyone else from the public?
Hi, Sherry Garrettson, 153 Cam Avenue. Just wanted to make a comment about the artificial turf. Did I hear correctly that they're putting artificial turf in the baseball field at Grokoski Park?
It's already complete, yes.
It's already completed? Okay, so just for future, artificial turf, the NFL, last time I did research on this, the NFL is rejecting that. They don't want it anymore. There's problems with artificial turf. Even just in New Jersey, Westfield, Scotch Plains, Maplewood, and Homedale have recently rejected proposals or fought against the installation of artificial turf, prioritizing natural grass due to environmental, health, and cost concerns. It takes upkeep. I mean, you don't just put it down and go, great, we're done. And then when you decide, like, perhaps, you may decide, like these other municipalities, that it wasn't a good idea after all, you're going to have to rip it up, and then you've got this huge piece of plastic that's going to live forever in a landfill somewhere. So please, when you have a decision like this, please come to the Environmental Commission or invite us to come and just do a little presentation about it so that we can make wise decisions with our municipal money and for the health and safety of our residents.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thanks.
Good evening, Jim Hutchison, 38 Virginia Street. First off, congratulations again, Donna, for your recognition. Very well deserved. Great job. And to the DPW, great job with healing the snow. Just tremendous. Super job. In addressing 2026-5 ordinance, I know it's just for first reading tonight, but if we're looking at that, who's going to enforce that? Who's going to be in charge of enforcing the snow situation, dumping in the street, etc.?
Please.
And is there any kind of fines that are going to be established associated with that? Because I didn't see that in any of the documentation.
There will be eventually. Yeah.
Okay.
We'll get it on.
Okay. Kind of jumping ahead here. The water replacement project, the water replacement project, as far as the meters are concerned. Do we know how many meters we have to go yet before we have 100% change out?
Joe. That's what we're down to now? Okay.
430. That's still a lot. That's almost 10%. I think we really have to push that issue hard, because I think that's holding us up for the opportunity of many new projects that we can have. I think everybody saw their new electric bill. We have the new billing company now. And I believe we probably got a lot of comments coming back to the to Borough, because there was probably a delay in the data transmission with the new company versus the old. And I'm sure many of the residents received a past due balance on their electric bill, even though they had already paid it, which again creates a concern. Hey, I paid that. Why am I not getting credit for that? I think it's just, again, from the timing aspect of going from the old company to the new company. So obviously everybody will be credited for that. But I'm looking forward, thinking ahead forward, and if we can get all of these water meters changed out and everybody can then be read automatically like we do with the electric meters, we have the opportunity of doing a lot of things with our utility. I think the first thing is we can combine the electric and the water bills onto one bill, and then have the accounting spit that out and update the electric side and the water side. So that now we send out one bill, there's a cost savings, and if the customer just has to send one check back, I think then, again, it's an easier process, and hopefully everybody stays more up to date on their bill. So it opens the opportunity to do some things that we don't have today. Other situations such as maybe budget billing, where you can basically spread everybody's bill out over a year and you pay pretty much the same each month. can do things like that. And also, maybe offer some different type of electric rates, which can save the customer some money. So having the availability of one bill, or again, monthly bill on the water side, opens the door to some very good possibilities that we can work into our rate structure and also save money at the same time for both the resident and obviously for the borough itself. So hopefully we can push that issue and get that going. Just a couple comments. First off, from the Cultural Arts and Heritage Commission side of things, the Memorial Day Parade planning is in progress. That will be on Monday, May 25th, Memorial Day. And from the chair, she is asking if anybody knows of any bagpipe bands that would like to join our Memorial Day Parade. They are always welcome. We'd like to see some bagpipes out there on Memorial Day. And finally, South River Day is also set for Saturday, October the 17th. That'll be out there hopefully again on next to the school, and hopefully we'll have some good weather this year. And one last comment. I've talked to some people, and when we have our reports from people such as age, fire, etc., where they're sitting out in the audience, people, I know we had the microphone that we were walking around with last time. Maybe we can't do that, move the microphone around. Maybe they can come up here and give a report so that our public can hear that in the future rather than just a muffling in the background. Just a recommendation. Okay. Thank you, folks.
Anyone else from the public? First.
Emily Grasso, 13 Dower Street. So I was thinking about the pots, and you were saying that you were going to take the pots with the live crepe myrtles and put them on Blue Acres properties.
Yep.
We can plant trees on Blue Acre properties too.
That's correct.
But why not put them along Whitehead in front of some businesses? Because when you put them on Blue Acres, then Age has to water them because nobody's going to take care of those empty properties besides them. But if you maybe get the Economic Development Commission to put like a pot in front of their business, it'll make it look nicer. I mean, Whitehead, it's not possible to plant trees along there. It's most of it.
I think it's a great idea, but here's where my problem with those pots were. And I noticed it on Sunday when I decided to do the little walkthrough. And the problem was, unfortunately, these residents think it's a garbage can.
Oh, yeah.
So when I tell you I can't imagine how much garbage was inside these pots, it bothered me.
Something over the...
And you think they're going to...
I don't know.
Do you think for a second they're going to listen to us? No. I'm trying to get up some ideas so we just don't throw these pots away. So,
okay.
Right? We'll talk about it.
Okay.
Anyone else from the public? First, my second. Do I have a motion to close?
Motion to close public.
Motion by Council President DeSantis, seconded by Councilman Krasinski.
All in favor?
Aye. There's no mayoral appointments. We are going to go on consent resolutions. There is one consent resolution that was added, which is that we're going to be going into closed session, which is going to be consent resolution 106, which will be read separately after the council comments. Alyssa, can you please read the consent resolutions 2026-95 to 105?
Whereas Resolution 2026-01 authorizes the Borough Council to utilize a consent agenda to adopt various resolutions of a routine and non-controversial nature at one time, now therefore be it is hereby resolved that the below listed resolutions are hereby adopted by the Borough Council in whole as if the same were individually acted upon. Consent Resolutions 2026-95 to 2026-105. 95, authorizing appointments to the Office on Aging. 96, submission of the 2026 HCD Block Grant Proposal. 97, awarding a contract to CME Associates for professional services. 98, authorizing the submission for the Middlesex County Enhanced Recycling Grant. 99, 2026 Spring Recreation Employees. 100, appointment of HCD designees. 101, authorizing award to Crossroads Paving Company. 102, appointment of a fire subcode construction and zoning official. 103, authorize the bills and claims list. 104, authorizing an emergency contract award to Joe's Heating LLC. 105, appoint Board of Health members.
What is your motion?
Motion.
Motion by Council President DeSantis, second by Councilman DeZemian.
Councilwoman De Silva,
Yes.
Councilman Donato,
Yes.
Councilman DeZemian,
Yes.
Councilman Janikopoulos,
Yes.
Councilman Gertenski,
Yes.
Council President DeSantis.
Yes, with an abstention on number 103 or 26-00542.
All right, we are going to go into council comments. Councilman Donato,
No comments.
Councilman Janikopoulos,
Again, I'd like to thank DPW, and I also forgot to thank Peter, the OEM coordinator, for doing a great job and just keeping everybody together and organizing everything and organizing the after-storm meetings, which is helpful and just gets everybody on the right track and on the same page. Thank you, Peter.
Councilman DeZemian.
Yes, thank you, Peter. I didn't mention it before, but when I got to get a chance to go down and see the temporary facility during the month that operations was down there and all the work you had to do to get that up and running. Thank you for all that. I wanted to mention a friend of mine, a lot of people in town who recently passed away. He went to high school with me. His name is Howie King. A lot of people knew him. And being on council, I graduated high school with him. So he was a graduate of my class. He was one that in town, a lot of people knew him. He would always attend all the sports. And I just wanted to mention his name here at this meeting of all his support over the years that he did for South River sports. And that's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilwoman De Silva.
I just wanted to thank DPW for your help, but also fire department and our police station for keeping everybody safe during the storm. This second storm actually went really smoothly. The streets were amazing, curb to curb, especially on Ferry Street where I have my business. It was amazing. People could actually park and walk, and it was outstanding. So I want to thank DPW, but also our safety, also police department and fire department for all the work you do for our residents in this town. And that's all, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilman Councilman Krasinski.
Thank you, Mayor. First off, I'd like to thank Robert Wood, our police department, our fire department, and especially DPW for the outstanding job that they did. I don't think most people realize that there are 60 miles of streets in this town. And stop and think about that. Those guys were out there, at least 24 hours constantly, going back and forth on the streets, and they're negotiating turns and driveways, plus the vehicles on the side. Believe me, they did a tremendous job, and it's really outstanding. I also want to give my congratulations to Donna, and it is pothole season. Give the guys a break. They had a rough last month. They're going to get out there, and they'll be patching as soon as they possibly can, okay? With that, I thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Council President DeSantis.
I'll echo the same age with the DPW. Not every storm is the same. Last storm was half the snow, but it was 20 degrees for 10 days after that. It's hard to get things to move. This time we got 18 inches. I did go on Facebook. There was a few negative comments. As much as Peter doesn't like Facebook, there was a lot of positive responses to those negative comments where one person had something negative to say and there was probably 50 positives that came after that. As much as I don't want it to get contentious on there, I do like to see people backing the borough employees. I think it goes a long way to understand not only do they go work for 24 hours straight, these are the same employees who pick the garbage that week, right? So they go to work and we had to push garbage from one day to the end of the week. If one comment was, why can't they just continue to plow days and days after the storm? We don't have a dedicated plow crew. These people have other roles and responsibilities. So age is allocating resources and time. And when you say manpower, they're human. They get tired. They need to go to bed. My next door neighbor works for the DPW. I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I shovel his sidewalk for him. So when he comes home, he doesn't have to. So we all have to pitch in a little bit. So I think people need to just put it into perspective. These employees, if there was not any snow, they'd be working 40 hours a week. With the snow, they have to work those extra hours. Okay. And if we call outside companies to come in and do snow removal, which becomes very necessary in certain instances with the loaders, that costs a lot of money because you're paying high wage rates, machinery, et cetera. So it's a balancing act. Be patient, get your cars off the street. And if you have an issue, reach out and let us know. Going on Facebook and saying, when are they going to pave a certain or plow a certain street is not really effective. And then you'll see, oh, I have to go to work tomorrow. When is my street going to get plowed? Tomorrow is 12 or 15 hours away. They can get a lot of work done overnight. So be patient. I'm not saying be quiet, but be patient and be mindful of what's going on and just put it into some perspective. So with that, Mayor, that's all I have.
Thank you. All right. First things first, Mr. Hutchison. I agree with your reports. Next council meeting, we were already talking about them coming up to the mic to post the report, as well as the meter tech. What you don't know that our staff at the at the 48 Washington for the past few weeks has been making phone calls, even on Saturdays, to the residents that have not gotten a meter into their house. Now, the reason we're doing that is because we're trying to avoid them getting an actual violation. And the violation is a little heavy. So we're trying to be nice by making that call. But thank you for bringing that up. Now, for the electric bills, I wanted to actually speak to you about it, where I wanted Joe to kind of explain to us what is really going on with those electric bills and why is it coming in twice.
Company was trying to get all the information from the old company, and they were helping, but it was coming not timely. Some information wasn't accurate, and we had to go back and get some of the information. February 1st, when they cut over, had to put it on hold for a little bit. So money was coming in. They were keeping track of everything, but they weren't recording against people's accounts yet until they actually went live. When they first went live, there's 5 cycles in electric. The first cycle was going out to 1,500 accounts or so. Looked like some of them didn't look accurate. So people at town hall were going through all 1,500, which they did for a couple of weeks, corrected a bunch of them, ended up sending all the bills out for cycle 1, but that takes weeks, so now cycle 2 is starting to happen right now too. So the good thing is once all 5 cycles are done, we're going to be confident that almost every single bill is going to be accurate going forward. The problem is getting the cycles to make sure they're all accurate. So cycle 1 has been done, cycle 2 is being worked on now. Cycle 5 is the shortest one, so we're not as worried as cycle 5, but once we get through all 5 cycles, then we'll start sending out bills, and we know the bills are going to be accurate.
Okay.
So we're on cycle 2. I mean, they went through 1,500. That's a very difficult amount to go through.
Correct.
And they caught I shouldn't say a decent amount, probably maybe like 20 or 30 of them that they made corrections on. But the old company transition to the new company has not gone flawlessly like we hoped.
Right.
So,
You would expect them to be easy, but it's not.
yeah, it's not. But once we get through this whole hump, I think we're going to be in a good shape because I think they will really be doing a thorough 100% check on all the accounts. So once this whole thing gets done, I think we're going to be good going. Just getting to that point has been a very big process.
Right. Okay. I really appreciate the report. The second thing is, and I know I've asked you this at the last council meeting, how bad is our health increase? I'm hoping it was going to go down.
President DeSantis said also very, very
Adequate?
bad. So 25.25%, which is about $500,000 for a town this size. Which good thing is we're not in the state of New Jersey, which has a 6% increase. So still saving a lot of money compared to the state of New Jersey, but it's very significant this year's budget.
Okay.
Everywhere too. It's not just South River. Almost every town I've heard is.
Hopefully it changes.
Hopefully next year.
I know I have had quite a few reports, a lot of residents calling us in regards of scooters out of control going up and down the streets. I know the police department are working on getting this resolved. I know that we're going to probably find a way to put something on our agenda where it would enforce it in a bigger way. So we are addressing it. Congratulations to Donna for her accomplishment. Congratulations to the police department for being the 3rd safest town in the state. You know what? The snowstorms, Hernando. I got to tell you, the amount of criticism that I got from residents, and I hate to say this, but it falls under the category of the word hypocrite. And the reason I say that is what you don't know is when you have 20 or so employees, from the Department of Public Works, working around the clock, simply pushing snow to the side to make a path for you to get out if you need to drive. Is not easy. You have well over 60 miles of road. So for them to come back to your Pacific Road, they will be back in time. But the other problem is when you're parking out in the street, it's not as easy as it is pushing a plow. And take it from me when I tell you I plowed, and it was not easy going through some of these streets that were very, very congested. You're talking about an 8-foot blade that is about the length of 2 cars parked on either side of those roads. So you have to be patient when the Department of Public Works is doing their best. They did their best in clearing out those roads. And they did come back, and they did accomplish what they had to do. But I also wanted to recognize not only the fire department for having standby through that storm, I also wanted to recognize the OEM for arranging and making sure that all public safety was on their best, I should say, notifications of exactly what was going on. We had multiple meetings, and we deployed what we had to deploy when it came down to making sure this town was kept safe. So for the people that's on social media, I know that you hide behind the keyboard, and I understand where you're coming from. Well, why don't you go outside and shovel your sidewalk? We have now SLEOs going out there and enforcing it. Of course, the snow melted, but they were just doing that just to make sure that the path is actually safe for you to walk on. And what you don't understand is when you're taking that snow and throwing it back into the street, and then you're going to be a hypocrite and call and complain that there's still snow in the street. The reason the snow is in the street is because you threw it back in the street. Now we have that law that's being implemented. So to Department of Public Works, OEM, South River Police Department, the fire department, and everyone that was contributed to this, I thank you for doing what you did for the Borough of South River. Potholes. You know, 'tis the season. If you have a pothole and you're not sure if we already came out to it, just to note it that we're going to be coming out to fill it in, you could call. Call the Department of Public Works and just let them know what road it is. Right now, the police is going out and just noting what potholes they're finding. And I know that they're putting up a list and they're giving it to Department of Public Works. So they say that cheerleaders could fly. I had the opportunity to watch the cheerleading Parks and Rec kickoff, or I should say showcase, on February 20th. And to my surprise, I watched a particular councilman fly. And he did such a remarkable job that I have to not mention his name. Mr. DeSantis was great. So with that said, happy St. Patrick's Day. And Alyssa, we are going to go into closed session. We are not going to be acting on it, which is going to be Resolution 226-102. I'm sorry.
106.
106.
106, sorry, 106. Can you please read it?
2026-106, whereas Section 8 of Chapter 231 Public Law 1975 permits the exclusion of the general public from a meeting of the governing body under certain circumstances. And whereas the mayor and council of the Borough of South River are of the opinion such circumstances presently exist, now therefore be it is hereby resolved by the mayor and council of the Borough of South River.
Motion to waive the full read. Can I do that?
No.
No? Can I?
How much more do you have to read?
I mean, it's fine.
Yeah.
Totally.
No,
go
go ahead. Keep going. Keep going.
No, you already did it. Who's going to second it?
Who's going to second it?
Second.
Motion by Council President DeSantis, seconded by Councilwoman De Silva.
Councilwoman De Silva?
Yes.
Councilman Donato?
Yes.
Councilman DeZemian?
Yes.
Councilman Janikopoulos?
Yes.
Councilman Gertenski? Council President DeSantis?
Yes.
Oh my God. Is it my voice? It was so angelic.
I was on a drive.
Oh my God.
No, I just wasn't sure.
You're so sweet. Thank you so much.
You got past the bubble, so I thought that's
That's all we need.
He flew right in there and took care of it.
Well, she was like, whereas, once I hear that, I'm like,
I'm done.
oh.
And plus, we had an issue at the OEM meeting. We found out that
She flew the coop before I had a chance.
You're on camping.
Oh, on the far side?
Yeah, that one wall, and then
Yeah.
there's some cracks up on the second level of the wall, and then they showed them like all the leaks upstairs. They just look basically like cracks.